sponsor of the Banquet Hall podcast. Thanks for listening.
And y'all going in and out of focus, but we just gonna do it. I feel like it's kind of fitting though, because like I said, I just saw a haunted mansion, and so I feel like I'm interviewing like a ghost and a half.
Spirits of the past.
Yeah,
we're officially the ancestors. Is that what you're
that's wild.
What did the ancestors?
That's really wild of you to say, but that's just how this podcast is gonna start. Like when people start the podcast episode, this is shenanigans that they getting into. But I have to go ahead.
They started out blurred. They probably thought it was a documentary. What? I ain't no snitch. I should have just let you know.
I'm gonna be Evan for the purposes of this documentary.
No real names. Even though my name's
that's why I was like, how
the whole name at the same time.
First and last.
It's okay. I'll edit it out in post. They'll never know.
Censor.
They will never know. Welcome to the Banquet Hall podcast. For the purposes of our interviewee safety throughout the podcast episode, we will be blurring out their faces at different times, just to respect the privacy of our two guests. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the shenanigans. Make sure you follow the podcast at Banquet Hall Pod on social media platforms. Leave a like, 5-star review. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell their uncle to tell their cousin to tell their neighbor to get the podcast a listen. Everybody get a podcast to listen. But I'm blessed to be joined by two wonderful artists, two wonderful people in the community. The homies, just really dope people I'm really excited for y'all to get to know. I'm joined by Evan and Brittany. How are y'all doing today?
Good. Try not to move too much, because
be still.
We're gonna be really, really still the entire podcast. That's it.
That's all you get.
Don't move your mouth. Don't move your lips, because it starts to
blur.
All right, cool.
This is already the most I think I've laughed at the beginning of an episode. It's going to be a good time. I feel like the energy is good. Y'all necks might be stiff by the end of this, but just
I'm really trying not to move too. It's crazy.
And then he moved.
Right on cue. But I think that I'm really excited to have you on the podcast. This is the second time I've had a couple. Can I call y'all a couple? I don't want to put a label out there.
Yeah.
No, I'm just out of respect, I should have asked before.
Listen, we know how it go.
Whoa, but now we
game respect game. But this is the second couple I've had on the podcast. Earlier listeners of the Banquet Hall will know I had Devon and Sinclair on, the creators of Black Wall Street, the board game, and so really excited for folks to get to know y'all. Before we get started with this first typical question, why don't we give like a quick little elevator pitch of who y'all are? Like, just like, who are y'all? You don't have to go that far in depth, but however you want to introduce yourself to the folks on the podcast. How about we start with Brittany?
Yeah.
What? I'm Brittany Taylor. I'm a San Diego native, born and raised. I'm an artist. I'm a working woman. I'm trying to figure it out.
Are we all?
Like we all are. I believe in Jesus and therapy, and I sing sometimes for fun and for money.
Are you going downplay this?
It's okay. That's what the podcast is for. We're gonna upplay it throughout the podcast episode.
Maybe we would get there eventually, but like to start,
to start.
I sing for fun and for money, for both.
For fun and for money. We're gonna get there. Evan, what about yourself?
Hey, I'm just a guy. My name's Evan. I be doing stuff and things and stuff. That's it. That's me.
I feel like that was a call out.
I gave him a job title, okay? Like I got work. I call myself an artist. That's how I started.
All right, cool. We'll go with that. We'll go with that.
No.
But that's me in a nutshell.
Filmmaker.
I mean,
Director. Videographer.
Hey, speak on
songwriter.
Singer, songwriter.
Oh, we're gonna get there.
You sang for Emmy Award winning ballet.
You had a show on MTV.
Okay, you're right.
We gonna get there, y'all. We gonna get there. But I love that we're reeling them in already, because we went from I'm a Guy to MTV, Emmy Award winning. We got stars in the building, y'all, and I'm excited. Even though
I'm just glad to be in the number one more time.
No.
That's it.
Honestly, listeners, I really just wanted to interview Brittany, but I only had Evan's number.
Oh dang!
He's a way more fascinating guy.
I could jump off.
Please don't.
I could jump off.
No, I need you. I need you here. You're way more fascinating. I just like to quote other people from Instagram and make people laugh. That's pretty much all I do, guys.
Hey, by the end of it though, everybody will be laughing. People gonna think y'all both are amazing, because that's my goal at the end of this, is for folks to know that y'all are equally as amazing as y'all are.
Yeah, we'll see. Watch. They're like, yeah, we do hate Evan. Look at his locks. They're not gonna lock him.
They can't even see him because they faded.
Like they can't see it.
They can see one.
They can see one. And that's the one that's locked. So you can't even.
Y'all see it? There we go.
It's locked.
It's locked.
Hey, they see the locks, but also Evan, you part of the beard gang. I could throw like some respect, because you part of the full beard gang. Not a lot of full beard brothers have been on the podcast yet.
Brothers out here, man. It's all good, man. It's all good.
All
People always ask for my secrets. Hey, man, mind your business.
Hey, I respect it.
You want my social security number too? Since we getting personal.
Right, real personal. You a clown, bro. But I want to get started with the question I usually start the podcast with, and that's asking where each of y'all are from and what y'all learned from where y'all grew up at. I think it's really important and powerful to just hear people's stories of where they grew up, because I think that especially in a city like San Diego, where there's so many people who aren't from here or just moved here from other locations, like really getting to know where people are from has really been like something really exciting since I've been in San Diego. So Evan, since you're just a guy, where's this guy from?
Man, just a town. No, I'm from Newark, New Jersey. Newark, like Fort, like Port. Don't get it wrong. Because everybody always
not Newark.
Newark. I'm from
Newark. I for sure was about to say Newark.
Yeah, where the airport happens to be. But yeah, I grew up there, and a lot of magnificent things happened to me. I went to Arts High School. It's a pretty popular high school for I guess creatives. There's been quite a few people. I don't know if you know MJ Rodriguez, Michael B. Jordan, Tisha Campbell from Martin, Melba Moore, all of those folks. So that's why I be saying I'm just a guy, because forever I've been overshadowed.
Michael B. Jordan.
It's just Michael B. Jordan. Who's that? Like,
he used to bring his scripts from all my children.
I pushed him on the playground
but
one time.
I'm not gonna get too into it, but yes. But anyway, no. Yeah, I'm from Newark, man, and I mean, what it taught me a lot. It taught me quite a bit. The strength I have, the resilience I have, the hustle that I have, all came from Newark. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm from San Diego, California, born and raised. What I have learned being here is, one, everything is not as it appears. California very much presents like a super diverse, like sunshine, beach, rainbow kind of state. But it's rough sometimes, and not rough like hood rough like it's hard to break into a lot of circles. There's still so much like, I don't know. It's San Diego, right? Like, and then I always say that San Diego, even though square footage wise, it's huge. San Diego is low-key bigger than the whole state of New Jersey.
Why you couldn't pick another state?
I was just saying.
Jeez, just
I'll bounce to New Jersey real quick.
And then she made like a stink face when she said it.
It's like in Jersey.
No, but while San Diego is a big city, our communities are very small. And so it's funny when like I go to like a Black expression and people are like, we're all Black people. And I'm like, Soul Sunday, Black expression, or in the house, or in the military. Those are your four options. Like that's where they are.
Or articulated
combat. That's we listen.
Sold out.
It is. and is. But yeah, it's a very small, not as diverse as it appears type.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people who have not ventured below the 8. And you find that when you work above the 8. People are like, spring what? La Mesa? Southeast? Like, yeah, like 20 minutes that way. Oh, I don't go below 8.
They're like south of the 52 and east of the 5, or
right. Is that like Chula Vista? No, it's not actually. It's before
like there's something before Chula Vista. What?
Mexico? Is that? So yeah, I've learned, that's what I've learned, is that you can't judge a book by its cover. San Diego was one of those books that you open and you're like, yes, it's a beach town and everybody's happy and everybody's accepting. And it's like, actually, not really. It's places I don't go after 6 o'clock in San Diego. Lakeside.
You're just throwing shots at all type of cities. But no, I feel you. And I would say I would even go beyond don't judge a book by its cover, because I feel like with San Diego, you can't judge it till like chapter 4. Because I feel like you come to this city, you see what it's like, you like, dang, like it's real beachy, real like just people in their sandals and flip-flops. Because especially I think because for me, I came to San Diego going to UCSD, so most of my time was in La Jolla.
I'm sorry.
Yes. So it's like not until I got involved in like the San Diego art scene did I really get to see like, oh, like there's like actual people here, like people with stories, people with experiences, people actually that are interesting. Because man, I swear, going to UCSD, the only San Diego people I know is like, oh, have you been to Vallarta? Like, no, like, can I get some like culture? Can I get like more than just Vallartas and carne asada fries? Like, what is the culture of San Diego?
Even Vallarta, that's a terrible taco shop to represent the taco shops. Sorry,
I agree. That's my experience coming
again below the 8. All the good taco shop is below the 8.
But see, I didn't find that out till chapter 4. So that's why I appreciate people like you who can really put San Diego on the map. And because we're kind of alluding to the communities of San Diego and some of the venues that the Black folks frequent in San Diego, I wanted to talk a little bit about the San Diego art scene, how y'all feel about the art community in San Diego, the vibe, what it's done for y'all. So whoever would want to start, just like, how do y'all feel about the San Diego art scene, the poetry communities, articulated combat, in a general sense? We'll get into the details of what y'all do in a bit.
I'm grateful for the San Diego art community, especially the spaces that are open and accepting of Black voices. But I've had an opportunity to kind of be all over the place with San Diego art because I had a lot of friends that were in theater. So I got to see the La Joyas and the Welk reviews and kind of got to go experience that, as well as the Neo Soul Tuesdays and, the art community in San Diego. I feel like we're not done. I feel like we have more work to do. I feel like we have more spaces to create because there's more voices. And I learned that every time I'm out somewhere at an event, like, oh, you sing, oh, you do this, you are great with, painting or this aspect. So I feel like there's definitely more spaces to be created. But we're starting it off. We're getting there. Slowly but surely, things are coming to the forefront and becoming notable. Events and places for people of color to come together and share their stories.
No, absolutely. I think especially after having been here almost 10 years now, the San Diego art community, from when I first started going to like open mics and lyrical exchange and stuff, it's grown so much to today. And just to see, like, which we'll get into in a bit, but to be able to see a CBS segment and like Black folks that I know, like being represented, talking about the work that y'all are doing. So really excited to get there. But Evan, what about you, especially for someone who isn't from California? What has this community like meant for you since you've been here? And how did you get here, I should ask?
All right. So, to answer your first question, the San Diego art community, it means a lot to me. I am blessed to kind of be somewhat of a chameleon. I fit in pretty much any space that I'm in. And I'm very much attentive to the needs of the different spaces that I'm in. And I think that not alone, but with the group of people that I'm with, we're starting to kind of bridge that gap that was kind of blocked or closed off. And people are kind of starting to work together a little bit more, because I don't see certain people in certain spaces as uppity. I don't see another person as, hood. I don't, man, this okay, there we go. I don't see another person that's hood. I don't look at people lower than, higher than. I treat everybody pretty much the same across the board. And like Brittany was saying before in her first statement about, people being divided, I think that that things are coming together, because it's not enough. It's not enough of us to be so separated and segregated. And I feel like we have more power together. And I'm great to be a part of that experience here in San Diego right now.
Yeah, that's real. It is like just special being a part of the community, and just like, yeah, just seeing how many different people are represented in the community, seeing people's talents grow over time too. Like, it's just a wonderful experience. And I feel like if it wasn't for the San Diego art community, I think that I wouldn't have wanted to stay in San Diego after like I finished my collegiate experiences. Like, I definitely would have wanted to move right back to LA and just get back and kind of grow and develop in LA. But now San Diego is kind of, I hesitate to say like a second home. Like, I still want to go back to Los Angeles, but it's cool or whatever, I should say.
Like, it's cool or whatever.
Side.
But I think one of the things that people are usually interested in when they have a couple on a podcast, you got to tell the story. How did y'all meet?
That's a wild story. Sure, it's not that wild.
It ain't wild at all. We met on Instagram, man.
Get to the point of like
she
how
me. She thought I was fine.
I did,
and she hopped in them DMs.
I did. I didn't technically hop in the DMs. I took a subtle approach of liking a video.
How old was the video when you liked it?
No, it was recent.
Yeah.
It was
okay.
So I was sent a video of him spoiling his mother on Mother's Day. So like point number one. It involved seafood. So we love my group chat. We are seafood people. Give us crab legs all day long.
Shout out to the group chat.
And I was like, oh, also, who is this in this video? Open Instagram. Yes, follow. Thank the algorithm, because he did appear in my stories. And I said, oh, haha, let me respond to this post that he just made. LOL, and see what happens. And he responded.
It was more than LOL, but
it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't that either. It was.
It wasn't. This was more than.
It was about the iPhone.
Right.
iPhone
You're right.
I was just like, haha, who you telling? Blah 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 blah. And then conversation just legitimately just started. It picked up, and this guy turned on the charm. Started telling me I was cute. Followed back. I was like, oh. I'm in there.
Bag secured.
Listen, because mind you, he has like 10K followers. So I'm just like, oh, he's not even gonna see my little baby request.
That's all by accident. I don't even
gonna see my little baby request.
No, I don't even know how that happened.
I'm a ghost follow him.
Yeah. That's only because of the MTV show, right? In other countries, and people followed me, but don't really know what I'm saying. So
let's just follow this cool black guy.
It's a blessing and a curse, because it feels like I'm shadow banned. It does. It's a bunch of followers that I have that are probably don't know what I'm talking about.
But yeah, that's how we met. We met on the gram, and it'll be 2 years in
a couple weeks,
13 days.
2 years. Wow. Well, early congratulations. Evan, and you can come out of witness protection in the blurry background to see. Do you agree with this representation of how y'all met?
Yeah, for sure. There's some holes in that story, but it's all good.
Hey, I'm a podcaster. Let's get the shovels out. What's the holes in the story?
No, it ain't no holes. That's pretty much how it happened. Yeah, we connected on Instagram, started talking a little bit, and then a little bit started turning into a little more, and then even more, and then FaceTimes, and then no hanging up the phone. No, you hang up first. No, you hang up first, and all of that. But yeah, I mean, from that, I did fall in love. I don't know if I fell in love first, but I definitely said it. Because you just know those things. Like when you have a good woman in your life and you're being treated properly and all of those things. I don't want to get too into it, but yeah, if you get all of those different things happening, man, it's just like, all right, let me lock this down and let her know how I really feel, because our conversations would be deep, and her conversations were different than any other conversations that I had with other women and stuff like that. So it was just like, oh yeah, this is the one for sure. So they're not gonna know who said that because I was covered the entire time.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I was like, oh, that would be the perfect little clip to clip for the podcast and get all the follows. They're like, oh, that's so sweet. Like that was a heartthrob moment of the podcast, but it for sure blurred your lips.
It was just like, oh no.
They're gonna think you lying because your lips
His lips not moving.
Oh man.
I was like, he ain't mean it. It was blurry.
Right.
But no, that was cute or whatever. But
yeah, y'all adorable.
Yeah, y'all adorable and whatnot,
Whatever.
I had to ask my producer in the back to give me some Kleenex. I'd be crying for a little bit of the episode. You feel me? That was a cute story. And that wasn't the question I asked. Evan, ain't nobody ask about love. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow, you right. My bad. Yeah,
we met and stuff. We together now. We go together real bad.
Instagram. That's it.
But nah, I mean, y'all's energy is electric. Like I didn't know y'all had only been together 2 years. Like I feel like meeting y'all, seeing y'all around Black Expression, feel like y'all been together for at least I give y'all 7. Like I think just the energy that y'all have, the chemistry that y'all have with each other, how y'all pump each other up and really validate and support each other. Like I was like, oh yeah, they've been together for ever. Like y'all was just one. So it's beautiful to see. I know our listeners will be able to hear it through the audio waves and kind of see it on the video.
Kind of.
I think my favorite part of everything you said was I could tell Brittany was low key trying to get the camera to capture you.
So he got have his.
I was
talking about me. Move forward. She was pushing my back a little bit. You ain't see it.
Get up.
You ain't see it.
Get in there. Support. Always have you back.
all that. But want to dive back into being just a guy or just a singer who does it for money sometimes, because y'all are so much more than that. So y'all talked a little bit about what y'all do. Evan, not so much. Not that much at all, actually. So
I just exist.
You just exist, but not everybody has just existed and has been on MTV. Has 10,000 followers if 9,000 of them are the ghost followers. No, it's just way less than 9,000. But in a more eloquent way, why don't you explain to our listeners, what do you do? Like, what are your talents as an artist?
He doubled back. That's journalism.
That's 2 degrees for you,
yes,
right
sir.
There, boy.
So y'all gonna see this master's degree.
He ain't cheap.
Listen,
y'all playing games.
Stop it.
Sucker.
I'm not gonna deflect. All right. So basically, to keep things simple, I am a media producer, multimedia producer. I do work in marketing for a Fortune 500 company at the time. I've had a wealth of experience behind the camera. I've shot at different festivals like Rolling Loud and Astroworld and a bunch of other places.
Just a guy,
huh?
So just a guy.
Just a guy.
Just a guy.
Just a guy. Astroworld bracelets and all.
Oh yeah, they are.
Press passes.
Somebody offered me $600 for them joints. But anyway,
right there.
Yeah, that's crazy because I didn't pay a dime for them. Man, and just I've been in front of the camera, behind the camera. I've been in radio, different things of that nature. I did have a show on MTV called Grossbusters. Different time in life,
I'm not even gonna hold you. I did look up the YouTube videos before doing research for this podcast, so I did get to see a little bit.
Yeah, nasty, man.
Pimp My Ride for Rooms.
Yeah, basically, Pimp My Ride meets Room Raiders.
Yep.
So it's just like the best of both worlds. It was a great experience. I have nothing negative to publicly say about MTV or Viacom. So yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I can't think of anything else. I've done a lot of things. There's not much that I don't do. But multimedia, that's my baby for sure. This is my baby first, but after that,
yeah. And some of our listeners who have attended Black Expression, y'all recognize Evan as a person who may or may not say a word during the show. Usually got a camera in his hand somewhere, chilling. Usually the top right corner of the audience. But very happy to have him on the podcast and just be able to share more about your talents because, like I said, before we started recording, there's so many cool people like you just interact with on a day-to-day basis and you don't even really know the full lengths of their story. So I totally feel you on the just a guy thing. Like I tell everybody, like, yeah, I'm literally just a dude, right? People are like, how you do all these podcasts? Like it's a Zoom meeting. I hit record. I talk to people. I ain't really doing that.
You know what it is, though? I think we do downplay it, and maybe we should stop. But honestly, man, I don't even want people to know me for the things that I've done. I just like I want, and I posted it the other day. I want people to know, like, my heart. Like, I love people, strangers and all. Like, I love people, and I just want to be known for that instead of all of the cool things that people think I've done. You know, that's it.
That's it. Brittany, you mentioned singing for money sometimes, for fun sometimes. Let's just talk about singing overall and just how'd you get your start as a singer? What has singing brought you throughout your lifetime and career so far?
I got my start like most Black children in a church somewhere. Like 90% of Black singers was in a church somewhere. It's 10% that they were doing other stuff, but yeah, the most of us was in the church. Yeah, I started singing in the church, and then just kind of slowly crept my way out. It's one of those things that I've probably been singing since I could talk, but I didn't know I could sing. And so eventually I reached a place where people were telling me that I could sing, and then I stopped singing because people are now paying attention to you. So as a kid, you're like, oh, never mind, not doing that. But yeah, just slowly but surely started to inch my way out into the forefront and grab microphones and audition for, solos and stuff like that. And then I was getting more and more involved. I was exposed to Neo Soul Tuesday and I was like, oh gosh, like, all right, here's an audience I can try to, start to sing in front of. And that kind of turned into meeting new people, meeting new creatives, doing a lot of background vocals and stuff like that. And slowly but surely, especially with the encouragement of people around me, like, hey, background is cool, but you have the voice of an artist and should be telling your story and writing your music and doing all the things. So, eventually I just decided to start writing. I wrote something, and then with the strong encouragement of someone who is directly sitting next to me, my first single was eventually released. He was like, hey, let's put a date together. Actually, he didn't. He just was like, what date? And then he did all the things. So y'all got unfair because of Evan. It's falling, same thing.
No, you got unfair because of another person.
Right. Not lyrically. Oh, not lyrically. No. It's in the atmosphere because Evan put it in the atmosphere.
There you go.
Not because it's about him in any way, shape, or form.
I had to make sure that was on record.
It's a story for a different time. But yeah, so that's just kind of how I got my start singing and then just continued to do it. I've always loved it. I did close my mouth for a long time and just kind of assumed my role would be praise team member number 3, tenorette number 1. Like that's just where I thought I was going to be at. But it's nice when people encourage you to use your gift. And I'm a strong believer that your gifts will make room for you. And so because of that, I've been able to have that happen. I've been on the news. I have 2 singles on Spotify, like streaming. Like it's a huge thing that I don't also give myself enough credit for, because comparison is a silent killer. So I'm just like, these 2.5 streams, but I'm like very grateful for for my 2.5 streams.
And I told her today, I was just like, bro, that's 2.5 more streams than people that keep saying they're gonna put out music and never put it out.
Yeah.
Man, can you say
That's
that
an
one more
accomplishment
time?
within itself, man. Like you're
Man.
doing it. You're doing it. That's
Like, come back into the. You need to say that into.
Yeah, you need to say
it
that
again.
into
Wait,
camera one.
you don't even know what I said. I said you better be thankful for those two and see too much excitement. You better be thankful for those two and why anytime I get excited. So like anytime my lock moved, that one lock I have, it moved and
Go.
you better be grateful for those 2 streams because man.
It's because you say grateful and not excited.
You better be you. All right. Whatever, man.
I'm having a blast, but because the folks can see me, I'll reiterate what you said on your behalf into the light. But I really did want to highlight it though, and really have our listeners sit with that, because I think too often, especially in this capitalist, like rapid production society that we're in. Oh, hey, nice of y'all to join us.
Hey,
welcome to the Banquet Hall. No,
right from the top.
From the top. No, we've had too much good of a time to start all over. But actually, now that you're in the light, I'll let you say it and then I'll say what I was going to say.
Okay. So basically, I was saying that she should be excited about, putting out a record. And even if it's only 2 streams, that's 2 more streams than people that keep saying that they're going to put out music and never put it out.
Yeah.
Was that close?
Yeah. It's basically verbatim.
Cash out me $20.
I'm like conflicted between whether to cut out the bloopers of you trying to say that or just include it for the last, because man, this is the most fun I've had on the episode in a while.
Oh, that's good. Look, let that be on record. That this is the most fun he's had on the episode.
You're welcome.
I wrote the timestamp on that one out so I could cut that. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I think that especially in the society of capitalism, of like rapid production, the TikTok era, the 3-second videos, like people take for granted just what it means if 10 people listen to your song. Like that's 10 people that are taking time out of their day to listen to music. And I think that the more that we pause to affirm those moments, I'm talking to y'all, I'm talking to myself, talking to listeners, because like the more that we sit and affirm those moments, it's like, wow, like I'm really doing something. Like regardless of if I never see 1 million people seeing this, I put my talent out there. And one of the things that I talked about with one of our other guests, Lynette, because she is a poet, and we were talking about just if you really sit back and look back at how many hours you put into that one song or that one poem, that's so much hard work. And just to see it come into fruition and you have it out there so that people can listen, and you just never know what type of impact and reach you have, because very coincidental story. Yes, was it yesterday or it was yesterday morning I went on a walk in La Jolla by the Cove with one of my close friends, Sabrina. And as we were driving to the Cove, Falling came on, your other single. And she was like, oh, like this song is so beautiful. I was like, oh yeah, that's Brittany, who I'm interviewing on the podcast tomorrow. And it's like just those moments where it's like, I love the fact that I can be just listening to music on shuffle and your song can come on and one of my friends gets to hear it and put them onto that. And then now we're on a podcast episode. This is why the podcast exists, for these types of stories. So very happy that you put yourself out there, that you had the encouragement, the affirmation to put yourself out there, because I'll be damned if that voice was just tenor number 1 or whatever you said. Like, can you imagine a world where the Brittany Taylor is just
Let's not. Why would we do that? You know what I mean? Don't hurt yourself, guys. Why would you do that? It's here. Go download it right now.
Q link. Look. Shameless plug.
He like, we don't have the technology.
It's fine. It's fine.
Keep it simple.
It'll be in the bio or whatever.
It's gonna be in the bio. We're gonna have a shameless plug section. But hey, I got time. I might do the whole YouTube thing. Had a little pop up like,
hey, that'd be
stream
fun.
right now. But if you are a little quick segment, if you are a high schooler out there looking for an unpaid internship,
listen.
No, put it out there.
Put it out there.
Yeah.
Right. If you're just trying to get some video editing experience, holla at your boy. Got to do it. But no, that was amazing.
Learn, I'll teach you, and then you could go and do his podcast and make it real fly. For real.
Teamwork. See? To community. Together. It's the goal.
The word of the day is community, y'all. This is This is why community is important. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the work that y'all do together, some of the events that y'all collaborate on and put on and participate in. And I want to start first. Let's start with the sessions at the shop, because recently there was a CBS segment where y'all got to highlight sessions at the shop. So just wanted to first, what is sessions at the shop? I know, but for the people who are uninformed.
Basically, sessions at the shop is a concert in the barbershop where we get some of the dopest people that are rappers, singers, spoken word artists to come in this room and just like showcase their gift. Now, at first it was 90 seconds. Now we're doing like full performances, and you gotta watch the rest on YouTube, but it's mostly 90 seconds on Instagram. And I do that with my bro, Sean Christopher the Barber. Yes, he's a dope host. He's a great people person. And we were doing session. Well, it was called Sessions with Evan the show at first, when for a while, for a couple years, and then I came out here, and me and Sean started to vibe, and he had some similar interests and wanted to do some things. And you can't tell. I'm not the person you can tell that you have a goal, because I'm gonna make you act right away. Like the minute he told me that what he wanted to do, I said we're gonna change sessions with Evan the show to sessions at the shop. He was like, bro, I don't know. All right, I'll see you next week. You're gonna sing first and Brittany gonna sing too. And those were the first ones. And then after that, a great musician by the name of Joseph Madden, he was like, hey man, you need help with the sound? I'm like, I actually do. I am not a sound man. I can get you there. You know what I mean? But sound is a different animal within itself. So we pulled up, and the rest is kind of history. Like it's just starting to flow. I didn't expect it's growing rapidly. It's growing rapidly. Like you'll see the Instagram followers right now was like 800 or so, but they're organic. And anytime we put, like if we didn't post for a month and we posted the month after, everybody's like, oh, we've been waiting for that. So people really love this, and we love doing it, and we love showcasing people that just wouldn't ordinarily get the opportunity to be showcased. And it's so much talent out here that is untapped. So I'm just glad to be doing that with somebody, especially somebody like Sean, who has an amazing heart. I can't think of one person that hates Sean. If they do, it's something wrong with him. We're gonna hook them up with some therapy sessions on me. Sessions at the shop, but I'm gonna pay for your sessions if you have a problem with therapist. Sean Christopher.
Sessions at the Therapist by Evan the show.
No, but just an amazing, incredible dude. So yeah, that's Sessions at the shop. I mean, I probably over explained that, but
I think you explained it great. I think part of explaining, like, because there's so much cool shit that happens in art communities and creative communities. Like, there's no real way that you could just, like, I love what you said on CBS about it being a digital jam session at the barbershop. Like, that is the tagline, but to really understand just what it means, because that's the other thing about the content creation society that we're in. People are like, oh, it's only 90 seconds, but the amount of work that goes into that 90 seconds, all outside of the little Instagram frame, like there's so much work that goes into that. And it's so important to be able to fully explain what that means. And I think that, at least speaking for myself, hearing you explain something that you're passionate about makes me excited to engage with the content as well, because you could tell that your heart and your passion is in that.
Yeah.
To be clear, he films, he edits, he sets up the lights, he plugs up the all the core, like he does everything behind the scenes. So it's not just like, oh, look at this 90-second clip. Like, if you really dive into it, you'll see the way that it's lit, the way that it's color graded, like all of that goes into how you get that 90 seconds. So like, appreciate the art as well as all the work that goes into it, because I sit here, it's hours of work, and I just watch him figure it out and crank out amazing content. And the artists are grateful too, because that's another thing that's really difficult from an artist perspective, is quality content. Like, and in a world where you can just, we were talking about that today, like you can post and document and like do the thing, there is still a desire to have like some quality content of you singing, and it's mixed right, and like you can use that. A lot of the two of the people that have been on Daygo's Finest, the clips that they used were their sessions at the shop clips. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's important to have that as well, which is another layer that is provided by sessions at the shop. That's wonderful to see, is we get to collaborate with the page. It's on our page. People can, you know, some of the videos is like the highest views that some of us have. Like, it's just a great experience being on the artist side of it and getting to crank out that 90 seconds. It's a meaningful 90 seconds.
And I will say, we are working on some ideas on how to get these artists paid as well. So, yeah.
Sometimes for money. Told y'all.
I love this synergy, because the question I was about to ask was like, what was it like as an artist on the session at the shop? So thank you for just being on the same wavelength. Like, we love similar wavelengths here.
We all got on blue in some way, shape, or form.
Community, right?
Yeah.
Community.
That's the word of the episode, is community. I need my graphic arts person to just do a little community rainbow on the screen.
It's gonna happen. Somebody needs some kind of internship hours.
Facts, though.
Man, it is definitely going to happen.
Your experience.
I just say, I mean, that was basically it. Like, I love being on sessions at the shop. I do get the luxury of, you know, dating the creator, so I have a couple more videos. That's okay. I get to brag on that.
I'm gonna be real though, and she knows me. Like, if she wasn't good,
I wouldn't.
We're gonna work up to it, all right?
I'll post it. Let's try again.
Yeah, let's do it a few hundred more times. Because I'm good for that. Because I don't ever want to turn anybody away or not put it up because they're not good. I see the best in people, and sometimes when they come on, sometimes you get nervous. It's a very intimate experience. Yeah. There's not a whole lot of people, and it's like action, and you got to go for it. And if you're the type of person that feeds off a crowd, there's not a crowd to kind of hype you. If you're the type of person that likes to be alone in the studio, there's still enough people in there where you're still nervous, and you're like, I'm only here so I don't get fined. So it's just like it's nerve-wracking. So I want people, when they come on, to showcase their best.
Yeah.
And I know how rude, you know, social media can be, and I don't want anybody making them a meme, all of that stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, and I try to look at the whole picture. So I'm not just being a mean guy when I say no and all of that stuff. Because Sean's not gonna ever say no. Yeah. I'm the no guy, so y'all can blame me. It's okay.
But that's true though. Like, the pressure of feeling like I'm definitely a show energy, like, let's pump up the crowd kind of person. But when you're doing sessions, there's like 4 or 5 other people in there, and they're singers. So there is automatic singer judgment. It's not even on purpose. It just naturally comes with like, oh, I can't do none of that. Oh, I had to, you know, and I have to go first a lot of times. So then I'm like,
because you already know.
I know why I know what I'm called to do. Okay, I know why I gotta go first. But that's still, I'm like, I look in the room and I'm like, I know.
You actually did it before everybody. You were the first person for. Well, Sean's got put out first because he's the host, of course. But you did it first. But I told you the idea first, and you came with me when we went and did Ashley J's and all of that. So it was just, matter of fact, we were together when I was doing them in Jersey.
Yeah,
so
we were. I watched Seychelles too. Yeah. Shout out to Seychelles.
Yeah, she's doing her thing. Yeah.
Community, y'all, community.
It's a great experience as an artist. It's nice to be able to connect, and I've met new artists and like people I didn't know in the community, and I'm like, oh yeah, I rock with you, like let's exchange information. That gives me a way as an artist to potentially work with someone in the future. And yeah, it's a dope experience. It's dope content that you get to experience and have live on your page as an artist, and it's a fun time. And especially now that we have a live musician, it's even better. Like, the first one I did was definitely to a track, but like after that, when you have that live musician energy where it's like, hey, this is what I'm thinking, and Joseph, and shout out to Shandon too, like I don't know what goes on up here, but you're like, hey, this is kind of what I want to do. I'm thinking about singing this song. What you think? Make it enter verb to describe whatever, or adjective, whatever the word is, and then go from there. And then they make some amazing beat, and you're just like, yup, Let's vibe.
That's
Like,
it.
And you mentioned Shandon. Shandon filled in one time for Joseph, but they are both phenomenal, and I love the way both
Yeah.
of them approach music and approach sound and stuff like that. Joseph, and just if I talk to him right now, he can come up with a beat just like right on the spot. Boom, I got you. You're like, how did you? Now, Shandon, it'll take him a little longer, but he's going to create something that you've never heard in your life before, and you like, what in the world? This dude's not human.
Yeah.
So I'm just blessed right now with sessions at the shop. Like I said, that doesn't even feel like work, honestly. So and we putting in a lot of work. I'm talking about hours of planning and different things of that nature. But it's coming together. Live auditions, I forgot about that. Yeah, all of that. So
Just the guy though, right?
just the guy, bro.
What's up, listeners? Just taking a quick break from the episode to talk to you about one of our sponsors, Black Beauty Near You. Black Beauty Near You is an online beauty supply store making beauty supply products more accessible for students at PWIs. From braid kits and bonnets to do-rags and edge control, Black Beauty Near You has you covered. And the best part is they ship it directly to you. Visit blackbeautynearyou.com to learn more. That's blackbeautynearyou.com. And make sure you follow them on Instagram at blackbeautynearyou. And check out the first episode of Banquet Hall Podcast to learn a little bit more about their founder's story. And now let's get you back to the episode. Just a guy. We love a good downplay. But I want to go back to the CBS segment because Brittany, you also got to perform on a CBS segment. What was that experience like? Like, I know, just as someone who knows you, anytime I see like people I know, just like, I don't care what you say. I don't even care what you're about to say. You being on CBS is huge. I don't give a fuck, like, no matter what. Like, seeing you perform on CBS, that's huge. I'm going to say that first for you. And now I'm going to ask as a podcast host, what was that experience like for you?
Now keep that energy up. Keep it
up. It was great. It was a great experience. Shout out to to that whole experience, to Daygo's finest, to Imani, and like everything that goes into that.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, I was sick. I was coming out of a cold. I shouldn't say I was sick post-COVID world. I was not sick in the studio, but I was bouncing back from a cold and I was congested. And so I was scared. I was scared because singing sick is not singing congested, trying to breathe, especially in a song like Falling, where I use a lot of breath and the lows and the run and like all the other, park and bark situations that are there. I was extremely nervous, but it came out clean. So I was like, yes. Always my harshest critic, but I really did enjoy the experience. And it was, the love that I received was crazy. My best friend, her daughter, my little niece, she was like, Titi Brittany was on TV. Like, and I don't think I realized how much seeing someone on TV, it doesn't matter what, it could be C-SPAN, like you're on the television in my home, and like the big impact that can have. Someone else had posted a video of their daughter like in the background and was like, Mommy, she looks just like you. And I was just like, oh, I'm done.
I would have cried.
I'm undone. Like, to be able to know that Black representation on top of just like San Diego, Daygo's finest. I'm in company of like literally almost everyone I know that's been on Daygo, like Lucia and Phoebe and J. Pierre and Khalil. Like, it's a laundry list of like people, DP the Unknown, like, so I'm in great company already, but then to know that there's this solid brand of like representation, Imani's dope for that. Like, to be able to allow us that space 100%. To where people can see themselves locally within the city, people that look just like them, that they can relate to. And so it was an amazing experience. I can't even lie. Like, I couldn't even downplay that if I wanted to. CBS is CBS, but like, it was an amazing experience. It was it was awesome. It was awesome. That's all I can say. It was stressful. It was stressful.
Of course.
Up until the moment. It was early. I'm like trying to figure out how to like clear my nasal passages in the morning. Like, Navage was for the win. Like, I'm like, it's gotta drain, like all of it. But it was immensely worth it, and I got bomb vocals out of it. So I was also very
Yo,
happy.
you was hitting them lows on that one.
It was
I'm about to say I wouldn't have known that she was recovering from anything because I just watched the video. I was like, oh shit, like she hit that.
It was yeah. Nobody knew. He's the only person that knew. It's like once you listen to it, you can hear it a little bit because I'm not breathing like I normally breathe. But if you're just like taking it all in the moment, you never know.
Well, your dad, he noticed too. So he know his baby girl. He like,
so.
Hey, all that matters is the
Like,
moment though.
Did I look terrible? Was I?
No, he could hear it in your voice.
But he could hear it. But after listening to me sing for 33 years, pretty much, you know.
You know.
You gotta know.
Gotta know.
It was great.
Man, that's huge. When we agreed to do this podcast episode and the CBS segment dropped, I was like, yeah, I just can't wait to just hear you talk about that because of course it already happened and like the social media likes and the comments, but just to be able to sit here for a few minutes and just really bask in that moment, like, and especially hearing about the girls like, oh, like she looks like me, because that's why these things are important.
Absolutely. Like that, I would do it all over again, the same way recovering from being sick and all, just to know that a little Black girl is looking at the television screen in the morning, watching the news with her mom, first of all. So like kudos to you for being a great parent.
Right. What are the chances?
Also seeing herself, right? Like not
depending on how you look at that.
Yeah. We're gonna go with great parent. We're gonna go with great parent award. But yeah, man, like just to hear that all over again, I would do it all over again. Just to be able to hear someone say, like, she looks just like you. Like, my heart melted. Representation matters, bro. Especially in San Diego. Especially in San Diego. I love my city, but we are not as diverse as we like to make ourselves.
It's getting there, though. We got to talk positive.
And we are. We're getting like that's what I love about it is like it's open. CBS is opening the door. Yep. They're the first. They're the front runners. Yeah. They're the ones that are allowing this segment to go forward. And while it's not just exclusively for Black people, it's for all of us. It is beautiful to be able to see so many people of color on the show, showing off their talent, showing off their gifts, and like even the sessions at the shop for them to be able to sit there and talk about it, the Black Barbershop and what it's doing for the community, like, it's great.
Yeah, I don't think it can be overstated. Like, as I was watching this segment, those are the types of things I was thinking. I was like, wow, like, these are my, like, to just put it straight, these are my niggas, like, on TV. Like, Black ass hair, Black ass beards, Black ass attire, like, just fully Black. Just fully Black on TV, on CBS, and just being able to just have y'all moment. Like, and this is, like, honestly, this is the smallest moment y'all ever gonna have. Like, it's only up from here.
It's a big moment.
It's a humongous moment. So yeah, just love that. Love being able to see that. And like I said before we started recording, that's kind of like why I wanted to do this podcast. Like, those are the stories that matter, because 10 years from now, when y'all real big, and people like, wow, like, who would have known? Like, oh, y'all didn't see the CBS segment in 2023?
Y'all didn't see the Banquet Hall podcast?
Y'all didn't see the podcast episode?
Y'all didn't see the pod episode?
We been
2023. What you talking?
We been knew that.
We been out here, bro.
We been out here.
I always talk to Kendrick Dahl about that. I'm like, we had a conversation. This was a while ago, actually. It was at Courtyard, and I was just like, yo, all the dope people right now, we're making history. Yeah. And they're gonna be like, y'all were in the same room. Like, we hear the stories of like the Jill Scotts and the Soulquarians kind of being in the same room, and Chappelle just having a show and saying, hey, y'all recording an album? I need somebody to perform real quick on the Chappelle show. Right. Like, it's all connected like that. And I think our story is going to be very similar. Like, they're going to be like, oh, Brittany Taylor was singing that Soul Sunday, and oh, you had Kendrick Dahl, and you had Kovu, and all of these different people just kind of like blending together.
He was there when Kyler was hosting Black Expression.
Exactly.
Like, that's what?
It's like a secret society we got, because it's like man, y'all don't even know. That's one of the things I love about Black Expression too, because I feel like over the last like few months, like, I ain't really felt like performing or hosting or anything like that. So when I do get in front of the mic and like see all the newbies, I'm like, oh, y'all don't even know who I am. Ain't that something?
But they will.
But the people who know, and that's what matters.
Exactly.
And I think that's why it's important to be able to capture and document these moments through podcasts, through videography, through just like Evan was saying at the start, like these multimedia platforms, and just how much you can just look back at a moment through pictures. Like when I'm like on Instagram on a Friday night and scrolling through like the Black Expression story and seeing like, man, like these are moments. And then when you're a part of those moments and in the flesh for those moments, and you just see what that moment looks like, because you might just see a picture of Brittany holding the mic singing, but it's like, nah, y'all wasn't there.
Right.
Man, I feel that way every time I watch the clip of freestyle singing Pennies from Heaven.
Oh my
If
God.
I could legitimately have that in my phone, I would listen to it at
I
least
got
once
the footage.
a day. We'll send it, because legit, I listen to that at least once a week. Like I just go back and like remind myself of being in that moment, and like I was sitting front row just looking at my front. Like that's been my writer since college. So me and freestyle, we go back all the way to San Diego State. But man, it was just there's like pictures of her singing and you're just like, what? And I'm like, nah, yeah, I ain't even know. We was all in there like, this the pennies from heaven. Okay, I'm gonna be grateful. Bro. You're right.
Man, I love giving people flowers because it's impossible to capture freestyle's essence in a picture. I don't care what camera.
It has to be a video. And even then, you're like,
you gotta be there.
You gotta be there.
You gotta be there.
She had this event that she was doing regularly called Let Us Heal. And man, when I say people were in there boo-hooing, but not like because they were sad, it's just like a sigh of relief. It's like her voice is healing. But even Brittany's voice, now when they sing together, y'all gonna hear them soon. I can't tell you when. It's about to be a surprise. But yo, like them two together is just like a cleanse almost. Like you get goosebumps and it's just like all of these feelings, heart racing and all of this. It sounds like a heart attack, but it's not. It's
my left arm.
No, but it's definitely a beautiful experience to hear freestyle, and then just them, the blend together is just you can tell they've been singing together for forever, and they don't even rehearse together, but they can go right back in the room together, and it's just like, how in the world?
We don't rehearse. Like probably we're gonna rehearse like soon, but like we don't rehearse.
They like practice. You talking to me about
practice, not the game, but practice.
Practice. Nah, but it's just it's a testament to both of our ears and the love that we have for each other, and the way that we just kind of like, there's people who you do stuff with or you work with where it's like you can see the underlying competition of like, while we're both pretending that we're cool and on the same page, one of us is always trying to outdo the other person with a jab or a bar or whatever. And when me and Eve get to singing, it's literally like, let's just have fun and heal people. Yeah. Let's do that thing where we just find a harmony. Sometimes I'll be up on top. Sometimes I'll go to the bottom harmony. She'll cut out like it just, I love singing with that girl.
She make you work.
She do. Yeah. But it's for my benefit. Yep. And that was part. She is who introduced me to Neo Soul Tuesday. Okay. I didn't know about Black Expression. No, maybe I did know about Black Expression, but I didn't know about Neo Soul Tuesday, lyrical. Like I didn't know about any of it. Mm-hmm. I was green to the open mic scene, and she was like, "Come with me. We're gonna sing together." All right. And that's just how I started like getting into the scene. And I was like, "Oh yeah, I can sing with you forever."
Yeah. That's beautiful. It's so beautiful. I can't wait for the feature-length film just about the San Diego art scene that Evan and I are going to put together in the future.
Let's do it.
Can't wait.
Let's do it.
I
got the perfect guy for lighting too.
Listen.
Hey, it's manifested. It's said it on the podcast. We're going to make it happen.
Yes, sir.
That clip will be in there.
Yeah. Right here. We said it here first.
See, we thinking at a higher level. We're producing a documentary right
now. Y'all didn't even know.
This is the bonus disc.
Yeah, y'all saw how like the censor, that was all planned. That was all planned. We was just preparing.
You have to bring him into the light for a real part of the conversation.
Documentary angles and stuff,
we're here. But I also wanted to make sure that we had some time on the podcast to talk about articulated combat and the importance of uncomfortable conversations. So why don't you give us a little bit of a tidbit about what articulated combat is and why it's important?
Okay, articulated combat is basically a community discussion that we have once a month where we do touch on topics like something simple like, is a hot dog a sandwich or is abortion murder? That's very lopsided, but it's some conversations that aren't taking place because we're so busy typing to one another. And I want our communities to face confrontation head on. Like, just because I disagree with you doesn't mean I have to hate you. Like, just because somebody, likes the Dallas Cowboys, that doesn't mean they're a complete idiot. I mean, they have some judgment issues.
I was about to say, I might need a different example.
Right. But it's just like, just because I view things differently than you, or I was brought up different than you, doesn't make me an idiot, doesn't make me stupid. Everybody has a point and a perspective, and we need to hear each other out. Even having conversations when we disagree with each other, we rarely have arguments because I'm at a space where I want to hear you all the way, hear your point, because you're feeling a certain way, and this is why you're reacting that way. And the reason arguments happen is because, in my opinion, people don't feel heard, so they're going to talk louder so that you can hear them. They're going to keep trying to make the same point over and over, and you're just going in circles. And I want to dead that.
Yeah.
Because it's a waste of time. Like, we could be getting into some real issues. We could be solving some real problems, but we're still stuck on who left the toilet seat up. You know what I'm saying? And even in my approach with my friends out here, when I have an issue, I don't go to somebody else. I go directly to them and say, hey, you know what? I felt this way about you doing this, that, and the third. I really didn't appreciate it. Like, man, never had anybody come to me like that. Yeah. But
which is crazy.
Okay,
that's how we should be communicating.
Exactly. So that's just how I try to move.
Yeah. Regularly,
and I want more of the world to adopt that.
100%. It's a beautiful experience. Everyone should go. Come to more than one, but everyone should at least come to one, because the way in which conversations are held, even the intense ones, right? Like, we have had conversations about is abortion murder? We've talked about racism. We've talked about reverse racism. We've talked about sexuality, spiritual, like literally Christianity a white man's religion? Like, we've had some extremely challenging conversations, but the way in which everyone understands or gets to understand, because a couple people, they be acting up, but not most people, everyone for the most part understands, like, no, I got to be respectful about this. I might not agree, right? Like, we had a conversation on body count. It got wild, but it didn't get disrespectful, because it was very much, like, people expressing their opinions about what they feel is high or not high, or who cares or who doesn't. But it's beautiful to watch people be able, especially, again, people of color, have a conversation that doesn't lead to a table flip or a fight, or everybody just cussing and so upset and so distraught. Like, no, I don't agree. I don't agree with what you're saying, or I have a different position or a different point of view, but I'm going to hear you out. I respect your opinion. And if you're honestly actively listening, you'll take something away, whether you agree with the opinion or not, because everybody's opinion is rooted in their truth. And so if you open your eyes to see that, like, my worldview is because of how I've come up, their worldview is because of how they've come up, it at least opens your eyes to how other people have been raised. Not everybody had 2-parent households, or had to go to church, or, whatever, the means or the rights to be able to carry a pregnancy to term. Like, all of that is part of everyone's individual journey. And so it's beautiful to watch. It's beautiful to watch. It's beautiful to experience. We've been dealing with healing, the last articulated combat, and this one that's coming up soon. And I think that's been our most impactful so far, to be able to talk about openly, safe space for people to talk about the things that they've experienced. We deal with a lot of trauma on a day-to-day basis, and sometimes it takes years for us to unpack some of that stuff, but to be able to create a space where we could talk about, what is trauma. Some people don't know they've been traumatized, and then they just run around terrorizing others until they're like, oh, that's childhood trauma. Yeah, boo-boo. It's time for therapy. it's time
and I noticed that in a lot of the conversations that were taking place, and I was just like, oh, no, people are hurt.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't come at somebody that way, that strongly, if you claim to be healed, but you wouldn't respond that way if you were.
Yeah.
So I'm just really focused on that part. I'm focused on healing myself as well, because I do feel like I have to set an example, so to speak. I'm gonna still be myself, but at the end of the day, it's just like I want to heal too. I want to not practice what I preach, but preach what I practice.
I hear that. And I really appreciate just the intentionality and the thoughtfulness behind even the thought of what articulated combat is supposed to be, because I really appreciate what you started with saying about people want to feel heard, especially going back to just the society we live in. People get their 140, 240 characters, they get their caption, they get their IG story, and we only have seconds and milliseconds to capture people's attention with what we want to put out there, we want to tell people. And within that, you lose a lot of those stories. You lose a lot of those childhood experiences, the trauma that people have experienced that frame the way that we think. And that's why I really appreciate being able to have people facilitate spaces like that and have spaces like that exist, because I have a unique experience coming from Los Angeles, South Central LA, to San Diego, going to UCSD, being involved in the poetry community, getting another degree from UCSD. Like, I learned so much in this college environment, whereas there's people I grew up with who've never stepped foot on a college campus. They've been on the same block for 20 years. So are they wrong because they feel a certain way, or is it just what they've been exposed to and what they've had access to? I've read books that people haven't read. People have experienced real life that I haven't experienced. And I think just having those type of platforms and spaces where that conversation is so important and essential.
That's such a good point, Kyler. Like, coming up, knowing how you've come up and like the things that you've been able to experience, and understanding that even within our community, like, it's okay for someone to have a different journey and a different path than you, and not do like a comparison, right? Like, if you want better for somebody, always encourage them, help them, guide them, give them resources, whatever that may be. But sometimes and I'm guilty of it, right? Like, I'm definitely a like pick yourself up by your bootstraps kind of gal. But listen, listen, I'm not really, not anymore. But I was raised in a Black Republican household. Like, it is what it is, but definitely like understanding that people sometimes don't get out of their circumstances because of the resources that they don't have, because of the encouragement that they didn't receive, right? Like, there's so many people that grow up in a like, you ain't never gonna be nothing, ain't never gonna do nothing type atmosphere. And then I grew up with you, but I'm looking at you like, you don't wanna go to college? You don't wanna? No, because at home, someone is telling them every single day they won't amount to anything. Yeah. So why
waste your time?
Risk spending $40,000 to go to UCSD? It's expensive. It's not cheap. Why waste money getting a degree that I don't even know if I'm capable of getting? I barely graduated high school, or like, I didn't even really want to go to school to begin with. So I think that's an important conversation to have, is like, we say Black is not a monolith, and we mean that differently, but I think we also have to understand that every Black struggle is not the same. And it makes you do different things, or doesn't give you certain avenues and resources that come natural, right? You can get them, but that takes work and effort. And sometimes people just don't, they're not in the space to exert that effort to figure out how to get to college or make it work, or, start at an entry-level position.
Yeah. There's so many layers to it. Like, it's so involved.
Yeah.
So many different like angles you can look at it. But I want the listeners to have to attend one of these articulated combat sessions, or look at the sessions at the shop to get more. We dropped a lot of nuggets. We gave them a lot of we gave them a lot of the context. I think we reeled them in enough. But I think there's no better way to experience it than just to go. So people have heard a lot about what y'all do in the community. Where can people find articulated combat sessions at the shop? How can they support? This is the shameless plug section of the podcast.
Articulated Combat is on Instagram at Articulated Combat. I keep things simple.
As it should be.
Sessions at the shop on Instagram, also on YouTube as well. We haven't expanded the AC yet, because I kind of want people to feel a little more comfortable. We haven't really recorded as much during the actual event, because I want people to feel like what happens here stays here. There is other content coming from Articulated Combat, because it's more than just the event. But right now that's the main method that we have to get out the message right now. So yeah.
Fabulous.
You can find him at a goat named Evan on Instagram.
Usually what happens is people will go to sessions at the shop or in articulated combat, and then all of a sudden they'll follow. They're like, "Oh, he made it. Okay. Oh, all right.
I guess I'll follow him too.
I mean, listen, that's how I got started. But hey, y'all stay out his DMs, all right? Y'all have our path to Evan some way, shape, or form.
And Brittany, where can people find you on IG, and how can they support your artistry?
They can find me on IG at Sing It Brit with 2 T's. And my music is available on all streaming platforms under the name Brittany Taylor. Not the rapper one, no shade to her, but not her. It's the one that sings. So hers is N-E-Y. I'm T-T-A-N-Y, for those of you who know how to spell Brittany. Yeah. You gotta make it, because people were like, this is you?
You can rap, girl.
And she can't rap. But yeah, not the girl with the bubble gum. It's me with the flowers and the afro.
Go ahead and check out the video version of the podcast. Make sure you match the face to the artist profile on Spotify so there's no confusion, as well as looking at the Instagram page. But as we round out, I have some more quick hitter questions just for folks to get to know a little bit more about y'all, as well as just what you want listeners to take away from this episode. So first, I want to start with, who are some people who inspire and influence you? And how about we go ahead and start with Evan?
All right, cool. Gary V, Steve Harvey. Oddly, I don't care what anybody says. Nick Cannon.
Not the baby mama part.
Why are we able to let the man live? Can he have his roses without being decimated?
Just saying.
Let that man live his life.
Next articulated combat can live his life.
Kev on stage, Isaac Hayes the third, everybody creating their own platforms is Tyler Perry. Oh, Pharrell is definitely my book. Last but not least, Spike Lee.
I was waiting. I was like, oh.
Hey, got to do the right thing. Am I right?
Hey.
Brittany, what about for yourself?
I would say musically, I'm inspired by gospel music. So singers like Kira Sheard, singers like let me see. I can't think of any other gospel singers, but Kira Sheard for sure. CeCe Winans. From a jazz and kind of funk spectrum, I love to say that I was raised on Al Jarreau and Daryl Coley, because I was.
And they're the same person.
They're the same person, just 2 genres.
My mom gonna be mad.
She is. I say it every podcast I'm on. I was raised on Daryl Cole and Al Jarreau. Daryl Coley and Al Jarreau. And then of course, you know, the Beyoncés, the India Aries, all things neo soul, Bilal, D'Angelo, Angie, Jill, Jasmine, Erica.
It almost feels disrespectful naming just one person.
You know what I mean? Like, and all things neo soul. And then also, I'm also inspired by like the people that are around me in my community. I can't not be inspired by the people that are like getting after it. I'm inspired by the Kendrick Dials, who just consistently are working and churning and putting out content and things and balancing life. I am inspired by a lot of my fellow local artists. I can't name them all because we would be here for much longer than a closing segment. But my fellow San Diego artists, I love you. I see you. You inspire me. And then to be the mushiest woman in the world, I am heavily inspired by the person sitting next to me. Evan is absolutely an inspiration to me, because he gets after it, right? Like he is a kid from North, like folk, like Port, but he's out here in San Diego, California. I do a good Evan impression.
That was good.
It was pretty good.
But like he's out here and he's making the path and he's making the waves. And for those of us who are not me, but others who are afraid to leave their home, their hometown, to get out, to experience and be scared to find community, you can do it. He's proof that you can find community somewhere new, and build solid, substantial events and programs and things for the community to take part in. So I am immensely inspired by this guy.
Appreciate that.
Next up, words of advice. I'm going to knight y'all as a power couple. So as people who might be trying to, yeah, there we go, just do the quick knighting. But as people who maybe they're in a relationship with someone who's also creative, but I think creative couples, power couples, like y'all can give advice for anybody in any relationship. But I'm specifically wondering what words of advice you would give for supporting your partner's passions and helping them grow into who they want to be, both from a pushing them constructively, criticizing them, but also from a nurturing and like just really loving, supportive way.
You want me to start?
Yeah, you go ahead.
My advice would be like 2 or 3 things. One, it's not a competition. So you should never be in competition with your partner. If you're in competition with your partner, that's your first problem. It should never be a competition. The second is that you were both individuals before you came together. And so the light and the star power that exists in both of you is available for that art form. And so you don't own your person, right? Like they're a gift to you. He's a gift, but I have to be understanding of when he needs his creative, like I'm in the zone moment. Like even if I want to snuggle on the couch, if it's time for business, it's respecting his art form. It's respecting the fact that people recognize him and they see him. And like every time someone says hi to Evan, I can't be like, who is that? That's you. That's insecurity if that's where you're at. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna shine because shut up. Occasionally I will ask, but that's
no, not you.
You
good with that.
But his star power is gonna shine regardless. And so if I'm deciding that I'm gonna be in a relationship with someone who is just as bright, even more bright, like I have to respect that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third thing would be continue to communicate, like especially as schedules get hectic and sometimes you're not in the same place or you're doing 2 different things, and like, check in. Like we'll both be in the zone. We both work from home, and like he'll just peek his head out and be like, you good? What you working on? What you doing? You all right? You need anything? Right? So it's like those kinds of things of like, even when we're both in the thick of the grind, or like it's, the 9 to 5 grind or the creative grind, it's like we still have to check in and then make time for each other. Because that happens too. You don't want to get lost in our identity being like Evan and Brittany are just always doing things for the community. It's like, no, Evan and Brittany have to pour back into each other and make sure that our relationship is good. So this last weekend, like this last Friday, we were like, shut it down. It's date night. We're just going to get cute and go out and like just be involved with each other. We had a like deep conversation in the afternoons, which is really...
No, Saturday, I think.
Was it Saturday?
Yep.
Either way, it set us up for success.
Yep.
And we decided to just, with all the things that we have going on this week, last week, we needed a day to just, me and Evan, be together, not talk about podcasts or schedules or like who's going to cook this week. Like none of that. It was just us enjoying each other's company and basking in each other's, presence in the way that we love each other. So. All
right. Evan, your turn.
Brittany said it all. She said she's a woman of a few words. I said a few thousand. But no, she did pretty much cover everything. But the one thing I will say is if your partner has any doubts, it's not necessarily your job to fix them or fix those doubts, but do everything in your power to get them to the place where they feel like they can believe in themselves. Give a little push without being pushy, if that makes sense. Those are the things that I like to incorporate, because a lot of times you see in another person what they don't see in themselves, the greatness that they see in themselves. And like, even with Brittany, like all of her success, she always gives me credit and stuff like that. Even like on posts and stuff like that, I'm like, you don't have to do that because I know that you're not succeeding because of me. It's because of your gift. I just recognize your gift, and I'm just like, hey, let's get it to the front. You already had it, so it's like it's just helping your partner realize those things, especially when they're down, especially when they're so used to pouring into everybody else. It's important to pour into your partner. Yes, I make sure that I refill myself on a regular with, I read. Thank God. Yes, sir. Read, meditate, all of those things to replenish myself. But then I want to be whole for her as well. So, yeah, that's it. Because like I said, she said all the other parts already well. That was articulate.
And not combative. What it could have been.
But if you're looking for articulated combat,
Right. But if you're looking for a place to articulate in combat,
we call that a shameless plug in the industry.
Thursday.
Yeah, we don't put dates because we don't know when this is coming, huh?
Yeah.
We don't.
That's
yeah.
what I said. It's going to be on a Thursday.
On a Thursday.
Always on a Thursday.
Always on a Thursday.
A Thursday. Which one?
Follow us and find out.
Follow the page and find out.
Hey.
And that's how you do a plug, folks. We talked a little bit about how people can find you on social media, but how can people support you? Whether that's in a monetary way or in a non-monetary way.
Cash App.
We're asking for a $20 seed.
You
From all the
viewers in the house.
right? From all the viewers, if you could just get something in your hand. I have no act right. Oh man, support for me is liking, sharing, telling. It's exactly the story you told. It's when you got a homegirl in the car, homeboy in the car, you driving around. If it comes on, like, unless they're like, this is trash, then be like, I don't even know who
It's like, who put that song on my? I ain't never heard that.
My cousin crazy leaving his stuff in the car.
Brittany, who the hell?
I don't know. She don't look familiar at all. But if they like it, tell them to go download it, run the streams up, play it again. We can run it back if you want to hear it again and really take in the lyrical content. I mean, money is always helpful, but I don't do anything. I don't have anywhere for you to give money. So sing it, Britt. If you feeling froggy, Cash App, sing it, Britt. I'll take $5. But no, just streams, sharing, telling a friend to tell a friend, put me in your playlist, make a playlist. That really helps when it comes to Spotify and Apple Music, when you get to be in people's playlists, and just helps get music into the rotation. So
no, I think that's perfect advice for supporting, because I started creating playlists in my account for like, this just the homies. Like, I got you on there, I got Phoebe on there, got the homie Andre on there. It's like, because it's like, yeah, like there's so much content you can stream, but you getting in my car, you listening to my friends. Like,
that's right.
You ain't heard this yet? Like, oh, you ain't heard Fallen? Where you been at?
Listen, I am the same way. Y'all ain't heard that new Daygo Fats? What?
Yeah. But Evan, how can folks support you besides the Cash App?
That's a loaded question. I have trouble receiving support, but what I will say, what can I say that's deep that can reflect this?
Nothing.
Question?
Show up to the events.
Show up to the event. Actually, here's the thing about that too, right? If you notice one thing about me, I'm not really, crowds is not what I'm going for.
Sure.
I'm looking for like impact. So it's just like, if 4 people show up to Articulated Combat, I'm okay with that. I do brag about it being sold out because that is an accomplishment.
Oh, it is. You gotta say that.
It's not expected, and we've done it a few times, but it's just like the support is great. Hopefully, I'm adding value to the people that come to these events. We do have another one coming up. I know we don't like giving dates, but we have Sessions at the Shop Live coming up, and we've got some great people headlining. And that event is not to support me; is to go have a good time and support your local artists. You know what I'm saying? So, if you could support me in those ways as I support other people, that would be wonderful. Just keep liking and sharing and reposting. If you have ideas, please talk to me. Matter of fact, somebody gave me an idea for a video for Soul Sunday, the last Soul Sunday.
Fire.
I did it and I gave her credit and all of that stuff because it was her idea. I just executed it. I am one of those people that you can talk to, maybe too friendly sometimes. So it's just not like that. Because if you in my DMs, you gonna get a visit from her. I gotta stop. But no, yeah, man. Support me as I support others. That's it.
I love that. Really quick, because I didn't add it to the run of show, but I do want to at least hear a couple of words about Soul Sunday, because Brittany, you did get to perform at the Soul Sunday event. So one final story for the podcast. What was that Soul Sunday performance experience like?
Man, I love Soul Sunday. It's just a good time. I have grown every show. So for me, I've done 5 headlines. One of them, my first one was with Lonnie. The second one I did by myself. That was back at the coffee shop. And then I've done 3 at Courtyard.
That's the one that counts. That's what
I know. I've done 3, but it's for me, it's a big artist journey to see where I started and like where I'm at now. I love being at Soul Sunday and having my parents front row. That experience will live in infamy in my book. I get to sing love song. Literally, people paid money to hear me sing, and all I did was sing 4 love songs to him. That was the whole game plan for the last Soul Sunday, was to serenade him for 30 minutes straight, and y'all ate it up, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate it because it literally that's just the space that I'm in right now. And I've been in very different spaces every time I've performed at Soul Sunday. And so I love watching myself grow. I love being a part of the team as well. So that's nice, is that I get to pass that feeling on to others and watch other people experience it. As you know, I call myself the head of, I don't call myself, that's what I am, the head of A&R when it comes to Soul Sunday. So I'm helping book our local talent and getting them on platforms like Soul Sunday, where it's just to know that it's on so many people's bucket lists, and like I can help you get to that place, and then you just show out, show up and show out. Soul Sunday is always an amazing experience. But yeah, definitely this last one has been my favorite. My mother was so pleased and so proud. And I sang Whitney and Aretha in the same night. So I don't know for all the podcast listeners, but like my parents are 1960s babies. They're from Detroit. Okay, so 60s and Motown is all you need to know. Okay,
critical.
Edna will tell you, don't be singing no Aretha, no Whitney in no public spaces if you can't sing no Whitney and no Aretha in no public spaces.
And the sweetest woman ever.
Can you say that one more time for the back? Because I feel like it's too many people that be trying.
Don't say that,
because people come on certain lives and do
stuff. But yeah,
sing whatever you want, guys. You can get better.
You can grow, but maybe not start with Whitney and Aretha.
Yeah, we want to push you to get there.
We want to.
What's a crawl before you walk song?
Listen, anybody but those people. Yeah, anybody but Whitney and Aretha. And they not with us no more. So like people are like, you gonna sing what? So it was great. It's a great experience. I love the band. I say it every show. Those are my brothers. I love playing with them. And yeah, it's an amazing experience. Like I said, I love being a part of the team as well. So I get to show up and show out, and then I get to go back and people ask me every Soul Sunday, you gonna sing? No. You saw the flyer. My name was not on the flyer. Literally every Soul Sunday, at least 5 people ask me if I'm gonna sing.
And now people ask me if I'm gonna sing.
And you should.
Then I should.
He is also a local San Diego artist. Do not be fooled. Part 2, we're gonna talk about Evan singing.
I'm about to say that'll be the next episode that y'all feature on the Banquet Hall, because y'all definitely will be back. But the final question that I want to ask, just to make sure that I get y'all out of here at a decent time, takeaways from the episode. I want each of you to just provide what are takeaways you hope that our listeners get, as well as what are you taking away from this episode. And we'll go ahead and start with Evan.
Oh man, dang.
I gotta give Brittany a section. You just had a little time to speak.
Just gonna flow with it, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, man, first of all, thank you for having us on the episode. We don't take that for granted. You you told us about a couple of people that came on. It's just like, oh man, those are some really valuable people. I'm glad that you think we're valuable enough to be paired up with those folks, man. But yeah, man, just the takeaways from this episode. I just love this girl more. Can I get away with that?
Always.
No, but man, I've enjoyed having this dialogue with you, and you've helped me even realize, just saying out loud some of the things that I'm doing, that I am making sort of an impact. Yeah. So it's good to hear. And we're working towards accepting and receiving accolades and stuff like that. So thank you for that. And that's definitely an uncomfortable area for me, but
yeah, thanks.
I appreciate you guys.
My takeaway for sure is, I know we joked about it, but it's facts, and that's community is important. And don't be afraid to make waves no matter where you go. I think Evan is a prime example of that. I think you are as well, Kyler. I have to say that. Like, make waves wherever you go. It doesn't matter if you're born in the city that you're in. Yeah. If you have something to bring to the community, bring it. Because we need it, no matter what it is. We need different perspective. We need people who aren't from our hometown to be like, hey, you guys have something really great going on here, and or y'all can do without that. It's good to have outside perspective. Sure. But yeah, man, like, make waves, and all waves start somewhere, right? Like, even the biggest wave started as just a break at the shore. So you gotta own what you're doing and go after it. And community is so important. So I'm grateful for mine. I'm grateful to be here on this podcast. Listen, when you said who should I have on the pod, and there was a Brit or like Ev or Brit, I said, or me? You would be? Just what do I do? I don't know. So I was honored. Just shout out to the Orange Line Poet for
trying to get him on the pod too.
Listen.
Oh, he not coming on? That's
he gonna come on.
Oh, yeah, right. He better come on. He got to talk about. But yeah, I was blessed to be mentioned, that someone in our city thinks that I'm worth listening to, hearing from, and then get to do it with the love of my life.
Aww.
It's great. It makes it even better.
And what I will add to what you said about community, cut the competition. We don't need any competition. Like, let's just have a good time, man. There's enough space. If I have an event on the same day as you, like, there's enough people in San Diego to come to both. We don't have to compete. Yeah. We don't have to like talk bad about one another. Yeah. We don't have to do anything negative towards each other. Let's just build that community, like she was saying, cut the competition and move forward, man.
Come together where you can, man.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we get so caught up in like our one event or our silo or what we got going on. And it's like, or you could create a super event and raise money. And with the amount of music events, we should have had a festival, because it's like 7 different people who can have it. We could have had a festival, a big one that features San Diego artists, that if we just came together.
I hate when you do that, man.
What? I know, because now your brain is turning.
I'll say we calling that a manifestation on this podcast.
2024, guys, 2025. If you see a festival, just know that it was my idea, and Evan started to do the work.
Hey, I'm with it. Let's get the marketing campaign going. We'll make it happen. But no, I think that those takeaways are excellent. I think it's probably 5 minutes episode. So I'm like, this is like my most fun I've had on episode. This is definitely probably my favorite episode I've recorded thus far.
Make sure you put that in the podcast so people can know that this is your favorite episode. And then if there's another favorite, have us back on. We'll talk it.
But no, I think that all the episodes are my favorites.
The spirit of no competition. We'll be back to top whoever you think is your favorite after us.
Competition in pockets.
Maybe that's all part of the plan.
Collective competition.
Favorites, y'all gonna keep coming back. Let's make it work. But no, like, on a serious note, like, I feel like I really needed these laughs. I love these laughs. Like I said, y'all's energy is infectious. Like I feel like we're in the same room, like we're in this Zoom room, but I feel like we're just across from each other in the same space, feeling y'all energy. So I just want to give y'all flowers, thanking y'all for y'all's time on this podcast. I know our listeners are going to have a blast with this episode when it drops. But listeners, thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all follow the podcast at Banquet Hall Pod, share it with a friend. And after this, you better leave a 5-star rating. Like I just don't understand like what even is a 5-star rating if this wasn't a 5-star episode.
What do you want from me?
Especially for free. If y'all's paying us, all right, you could be a little bit more critical, but
you can judge if you want the Patreon. But if you listening for free, like, share, subscribe, follow, 5 stars, leave a Yelp review, like whatever you need to do.
Say that. But last statements on the podcast, I'll turn it over to y'all to any shout outs, shameless plugs, manifestations y'all have to close us out.
No shout outs, that's how you get in trouble. Since I went first last time, go ahead. You got it.
Last thoughts. Thank you. We appreciate y'all. I appreciate you, Kyler. And I love you.
Love you too. When you say final thoughts, I automatically thought of Jerry Springer. You know.
Like, don't try to get deep now after they done beat each other up and everybody.
But if you ever look back, like those final thoughts was on point.
They were, but I'm just saying, like, wrong timing, bro. The chair is still flipped over.
Anyway,
sorry, we get distracted.
Yeah, I do appreciate what you're doing, and I think you're doing a major thing in the community as well by giving people a platform, not just the community, but everybody that is following you, giving a platform, and people don't have it. And if you know people like me who don't like talking about themselves, they never will know about people like us. So thank you. That's my final thought. I just want to celebrate you, and of course celebrate my boo all the time. But thank you, bro, for sure. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. That's what this is all about, community, y'all. But thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll catch y'all next episode.